Hi Capricorn, this is your 2015 horoscopes with me, Lada from Astrolada.com, where you can find out my birth chart calculator and find out what your ascendant sign is as long as you know your exact time of birth. And make sure you check the prediction for 2015 for your ascendant sign, because this is the astrologically most specific and tangible one. It shows you the real things that are happening around you. Or if you check your sun sign, which most people do, it's a bit more, it's not so specific. Basically, it shows only 20% of the things that are happening. Or if you check your moon sign, it will show how you feel emotionally about what is happening in your life. So for women in particular, checking the moon sign can be particularly telling about the developments. Anyway, you can find out your ascendant, sun or moon sign at my birth chart calculator. And if it happens to be Capricorn, this is what 2015 promises for you. But always for me, the best thing to check is your ascendant sign. And, after that you can check sun and moon sign. Anyway, what does the 2015 hold for Capricorns? Well, for the past 2 years, Saturn, the planet that rules you, basically, has been in your 11th house. So, especially if your ascendant was Capricorn, it's very likely that the last 2 years you were able to be quite productive. Because the 11th house is the house of, basically, whenever Saturn is in the 11th sign from its sign, basically from, in your case, Capricorn, this is when people, whether it's your moon there, sun or ascendant, usually this is when people can be more productive, can put into action things which for the next 7 years ahead are going to give them results. And usually even the relationships a person starts, the friendships they make, the changes they make in their life, tend to be, they can be more supportive for them for a long time. While Saturn was in the 11th house. And again, Saturn will come back to 11th house, to your 11th house for a few months from June till September 2015. So this will be the last chance for you Capricorns to create something which is more substantial and which you can, rely on for the long term. Because usually 11th house, when Saturn is in the 11th house, tends to be a very productive period. And if you have missed this chance, again, you have from June till September 2015 to use it. But the rest of the time in 2015 and the whole of 2016 and 2017, Saturn goes into your 12th house. 12th house is the last house astrologically before it moves into your sign, which means that it completes a cycle of 29 years in your life. So when it's in the 12th house is the house of dissolutions and endings. So there will be basically a lot of detachment that comes to you in the next 2-3 years. It might not come immediately for all Capricorns. Some later born Capricorns might come to them in 2016, for others in 2017. But starting from 2015, for about 2.5 years, you will have the spirit of conclusion, of ending a whole karmic life period. So it can be quite karmic period as well, the next 2-3 years. When Saturn is in your 12th house, when basically the actions that you try to do, the projects or whatever, if you're trying to initiate new things, it might not be so easily forthcoming, in the sense that this is more a period of endings and wrapping things up, and seeing the results of hard work for 29 years, seeing the results of whatever efforts you put, so you can reap a lot of positive results in the next 2-3 years from hard work that you've done in the past many years. Like, you can reap the good karmas from hard work that you've done. But if you have not been working hard, if you've been slouching, if you've been, let's say not loyal enough, or you've been living immorally or unhealthily in some way, when Saturn is in your 12th house, this is when you pay off for this kind of a more lax type of life morally for the previous years. If you've been stealing, if you've been cheating, if you've been lying in some way, if you've been living lazily, if you've not really put effort, if you've been hiding things, when Saturn is in your 12th house, this is when you kind of tend to pay off karmically for these things you've done. And it sometimes even might be connected to a past life, but usually is the things that you've done in the past 20 years, 26 years before that, that you kind of see the results of those things. And particularly things that were not moral, that were not, that were not with accordance with society or what we consider morally right, So some of you, It might be a great time if you work hard, if you were honest and fair, you will start seeing and you will receive the results of this hard work in the next 2-3 years when Saturn is in your 12th house. You will complete some big projects in your life, you will complete some big part in your life, but you'll be happy. It will be a completion where you see the good results and you kind of pat yourself on the shoulder. And you won't feel sad that those things are ending, that they're completing, because you've done a great job, you've seen the results, and you start detaching from those things, people, situations, environments, and can be a lot of different things. And there is like a detachment, like a feeling like, okay, I'm ready to move on. And the move forward and the new beginnings in your life, Capricorns, starts from 2017 onwards when Saturn comes into your first sign, into your own sign in Capricorn. So the new beginnings you want to lay, you'll be able to, but before that it's more like you're seeing the results of your actions, as if somehow it's things are already predetermined. You've set those things that you're gonna see in the next 2-3 years, receive or lose or whatever. You've set them in motion in the past years before, so it's almost like fated events that come to you in the next 2-3 years. And they depend on the actions. If you've been moral and faithful and loyal and working hard in certain directions, this is what you'll get now, and you'll feel very content. But if you've been, again, as I said, going, somehow, if you don't correct those things quickly, you will see the negative results. You might, basically, it's payback time. Sometimes it can be even health, that, a person can pay back karmically through health. Sometimes it can be by getting what they've sown. If you've been dishonest, disloyal to something, it can come back to you now. So, whether your consciousness is clear or no. And there is always a chance, to offset karma somehow by doing good deeds. But if we don't consciously do those deeds, good deeds, when Saturn is in our 12th house, the universe tends to give us kind of a reality check too. Not reality check, but basically give us what we sown. Okay, so this is what I see for you. And it might be a little bit difficult for, the only problem that can happen is that 12th house rules relaxation and being able to sleep and deep sleep. So sometimes when people have Saturn in the 12th house, there is a bit of a blockage with the sleep. So for the next 2-3 years, you have to be a bit more careful. You have to learn relaxation methods and practice them very well, because it's an ending process. I repeat, it's an ending cycle after 29 years. And it's a cycle that is a little bit more about contracting or finishing things up, wrapping things up rather than starting new things. And it's about letting go. So if you find some practices, spiritual or psychological, which are about letting go of the past, forgetting the past, forgiving, all these kind, or even letting physically things, like giving clothes away for the next 2-3 years, giving things that connect you to the past in some way, detaching from those things. It can be very cleansing. Don't hold on to things. If you're holding on to things in the next 2-3 years, it might be a much more painful process, like you're trying to paddle up a stream, go down with the flow, And 12th house also rules faraway countries, and Saturn is your planet, and when it's in the 12th house, people tend to feel like some people might even relocate to faraway countries in the next 2-3 years, who are Capricorn ascendant in particular, to a lesser degree Capricorn sun or moon. And they can also, 12th house is the house of escaping reality, of being away somehow from the practical and material concerns of the world. So in the next 2-3 years, you can develop hopefully healthy such practices of escaping, of relaxing, of letting go. And I'm not saying you shouldn't work hard or you shouldn't make any efforts, but for 2-3 years, if you're finding like you're doing a lot, you're making a lot of efforts, but you're not seeing the results, I don't want you to be tough on yourself. I want you to realize this is an ending process. It's not a time. It's of new beginnings. So if possible, like try and spend more time. Some of you might even retire for a few years. Some of you might too, if they work very hard in the past few years, now they start seeing the results of this hard work, so they can take it a little bit more easy. They can take a little bit more of a break for the next 2-3 years. So anyway, this is where Saturn is the most important planet for you. And now let's see where Jupiter is the planet of expansion, where things happen with ease, when you're kind of blessed. Since August 2014 till August 2015, so for 1 year, Jupiter is in your 8th house. And whatever Jupiter is, this is where you can benefit. So till next summer, for the Northern Hemisphere, you can benefit from other people's resources. Ask and you will receive. Other people might help you with their resources. Other people might offer you their possessions, or their moral support, or their some kind of resources or company or something that you can work with. They can give you a lending, they can lend you a hand. So right now, ask and you shall receive. The 8th house is the house of receiving from others, receiving from something that you have not even worked, or you might get support or alimony. If you're divorcing, for example, you might finally get support or alimony, or you might receive some unexpected support from parents, for example, or from a partner. Your partner might get a better salary, so kind of the money that comes from your partner helps your life as well. Or as well, you can, if you're working together with someone in business partnerships, for example, sometimes people, like I work with 5, 6 different astrologers and psychics, so my money is some kind of involved with other people's money. So when Jupiter is in the 8th house, there usually is an increase of financial rewards that come from, you know, having mutual finances with someone. Or you can even get a loan from a bank, or you can open a mutual bank account with a business or personal partner. These things will be beneficial for you. Or you can even have an inheritance from somewhere when Jupiter is in your 8th house, so you can get some tax returns, or some money owed, you know, some money that was owed to you that you didn't, you know, that you've kind of, that you'd like to get back, and you can get those money back from someone owed to you. And the 8th house also is the house of occultism and spirituality. So those of you who like astrology, 8th house is the house of astrology, because it's a hidden house. It's getting to the bottom and finding answers, how everything is ticking. It's a house of research, of psychology, of getting to, you know, researching and understanding how things basically, what are the underlying forces behind something. This is what astrology is. This is what psychology is. This is what self-analysis is. This is what all those self-help books do. So when Jupiter is in your 8th house till August, you can really have some amazing insights psychologically about yourself. Maybe overcome some dark side of yourself, or something that was controlling you, and something that had more power over you psychologically, that was almost making you feel stuck, you know, or unable to move, or some addiction as well. It's 8th house sometimes. Anything which has deeper roots and that has psychological control over us. When Jupiter is in the 8th house, it can help us overcome such kind of an addiction or obsession, or, you know, something that has control over us, because we somehow get to the bottom of it, and there is some kind of alchemical psychological process of transmutation and transformations that can happen when Jupiter is in the 8th house of psychology. Or people who are interested in astrology, for instance, when Jupiter was in my 8th house, I discovered astrology. This is when I said to myself, this is what I'm going to do, and I start researching it big time. So right now you can find some secrets, or some, you can get into some studies of occult science, of divination, you know, finding answers, or get extremely interested in life after death. This is again 8th house. If you're working with other people's money, you'll have success. This is Jupiter in the 8th house. Maybe you're a banker, maybe you're working with other people's assets, maybe you're, you know, restoring old furniture and selling it. Bringing life back to something which is dead as well is very beneficial when Jupiter is in the 8th house of death, because Jupiter can bring life back again. Or maybe you can, you know, others can help you. Others can see the strengths in you, because 8th house is support from others. Or if you're working with others, or you can also, in a sense, if you're working with others, you can see others' strengths more. And you can help others as well become more prosperous, but it's like a two-way street. Others can help you do this and you can help do it back. And also when 8th house is the house of intimacy, because it's the house of give and receive, of exchange of psychological energies. In astrology, in Western astrology, is the house of sex. Well, it's not exactly the house of physical union, but it's the house of sex, which is transmutational, which is almost like tantric. So some people can have deep spiritual experiences while having sex, while Jupiter is in the 8th house. They can discover a new level of sexual intimacy, and it doesn't have to be sexual. It can be a new level of spiritual intimacy with another person, like the two souls kind of merging, because 8th house is the house of two people merging all their bodies, their assets, everything, not only the money, but everything energetically. So intimacy can deepen a lot. What you can open, if you've had fears of others, and opening yourself to others when Jupiter in the 8th house, it helps you open psychologically to others as well. Or your partner can be more willing to open psychologically to you and divulge some of their secrets. And sex can be extremely healing and transformational during this period. Or you can discover new dimensions of sex, which is not even penetrative, you know, like tantric in some way. But that's a bit too, you know. In mundane matters, support from others financially, ask and you'll receive, you know, and psychologically you can overcome some obsessions, addictions, some things that was feeling you blocked. You can have a breakthrough in that direction. If you're studying something occult, it's a fantastic time for that, for research and for occult. All right, and then from August 2015, is moving into your 9th house. So all of a sudden Jupiter will help in the affairs of 9th house Capricorns. And 9th house is very supportive. Basically it gives you a brand new state of mind. It can make you feel so much more optimistic and positive. All of a sudden you start, and this is, Jupiter will be very helpful to Capricorns from August 2015 to around August 2016, because when Jupiter goes into an earth sign, it will be in Virgo, it becomes very supportive to other earth signs, which are, you know, Capricorns and Tauruses. And in particular, it will be very auspicious time for traveling, because 9th house rules faraway places, traveling, for doing business or being in communication. If you're in import or export, foreign countries, because 9th house rules foreign countries, you can benefit. Exchange or relationships with foreign people can also improve. Relationship with father figures can improve. Or mentors, whether it's mentor at work you have, or whether it's mentor in life that you have, or you can go to a self-coach help, or, you know, what is that called? Life coach. And it will be very beneficial for you, because these people, these mentors, these advisors that come to you when Jupiter is in the 9th house can help you put your life into a perspective and kind of see the bigger picture and plan for the bigger future, you know. And if you're wrapping up some, you know, ending some certain projects in your life, and you're waiting for results of certain hard work that you've done in the past few years, when Jupiter goes into your 9th house and Saturn is already into your 12th house firmly, which means seeing the results of your past actions, and Jupiter comes in your 9th house and becomes extremely supportive, basically from the end of the summer of 2015 for the Northern Hemisphere till the summer of 2016, then you'll start seeing those results, because Jupiter tends to make things happen when it's in your 9th house. Make things happen when it's in another earth sign for Capricorns. The 9th house is the house of good luck. So the luck of Capricorns will improve a lot from the end of August, approximately 2015. Some small new endeavors can also be optimistic and can bring good results. But usually, because of Saturn being in your 12th house and Jupiter being in your 9th house, it will be like you start seeing great results, or as good results as you work hard, you know, for past actions. It can be very good when Jupiter goes into the 9th house for people to start higher education again. Many Capricorns, especially Capricorn ascendant, rising people, will feel like, I want to go studying again. I'm feeling like there is a big part of my life that is concluding, a big phase is concluding, and I want to prepare for the next big phase in my life. So I want to be ready to take on, you know, new horizons after that. So Jupiter in the 9th house makes you open up your mind and be willing to start studying and learning new things and open your horizons, maybe even travel, maybe even, you know, meet new people, exchange, you know, open up your mind to new spiritual belief system. 9th house rules the belief system and the outlook on life. And when Jupiter is there, people become quite optimistic, they start seeing the bigger picture from above, and they start seeing how the puzzles fit. So even if Saturn is not fully allowing them to start new things, Jupiter will help them start prepare for this, to maybe start learning something new, to see that there is a bigger world out there and bigger possibilities. And when Saturn goes into your 1st house, then you'll be able to start, you know, really making those changes in your life. But while Jupiter is in your 9th house till the summer of 2016, make sure you make plans, you prepare, travel as well, very positive for travel. You might, some of you who've been trying to travel foreign countries, this can be a good time. They can finally get the visa or whatever. You can improve your education as well, and belief system and your relationship with God, because the 9th house rules relationship with the higher power. You can become a little bit more idealistic, and you can find new ideals and new belief systems. You know, you can read books of more inspirational people, and you can actually attract in your life people that inspire you, whether it's mentors, whether it's figures that you look up to, and these people can kind of help you start a new direction in your life or prepare for this new direction. So this is what I see for you generally for all Capricorns in 2015. And I just want to warn you that some Capricorns will have big changes happen in their life, big changes. And it's not going to be all Capricorns, just some specific Capricorns, because they have a Pluto-Uranus transit, which happens very rarely. Last time this happened, when Pluto and Uranus are together on the same degrees or respecting the same degrees, was in the late 60s. So it happens once in a lifetime, and it's affecting in particular Capricorns this year, 2015. Those of you who are born with ascendant or moon in Capricorn from around 13 to around 22 degrees, this is where Uranus is in 2015. Uranus is the planet of big changes, sudden reversals, need for freedom and liberation, need to be out with the old, and almost like becoming a rebel. Or if you're basically born from January, let's see, from around the 4th of January till around the 13th of January, they will have the Uranus transit and Uranus-Pluto transit actually together. So some big transformations, it might be big transformations and changes in your career and your goals in life overall, because if you're born in those days that I mentioned, it's the sun that gets triggered, and the sun is your goals, it's your career, it's your whole personality and where you're heading in your life and your path in your life. So when Pluto and Uranus, the gods of change, aspect your sun, you become a different person. I'm telling you, this life will be so life-changing. There can be some crisis situations because Uranus and Pluto bring the big changes when a person is more stubborn, bring them through big crises. If the person is more sensitive to the cosmic influences, they feel this impulse for change within themselves, so they start doing these changes. They start looking for their more authentic role in life and or more authentic people around them in their life, or whether it's your ascendant or your moon that were from around 13 to 22 degrees in Capricorn, you will also, start reshuffling, relationships, people. You want more authentic and real, people around you, and more authentic and real experiences. And Pluto, because you have very strong Pluto transit this year, 2015. Pluto totally transforms your ego. Usually Pluto tends to smash the ego by making us face our biggest fears. And once we face our biggest fears, we realize that actually we're stronger than those things and that they're not so scary. And we come out totally transformed, but usually the process is not always so easy. There might be a lot of psychological tensions, a lot of psychological and emotional, you know, like a bit of a roller coaster, because there is a big transformation happening to you. Once you come out of this Pluto-Uranus transit, you'll be a changed person, you'll be a transformed person, you'll be a few quantum levels up person, spiritually and emotionally, and you have much more strength than before. But while the process is happening, sometimes there might be even death, sometimes there can be, you know, the death of the ego can happen through loss of things that we consider a part of us. It might be people, it might be career, it might be other situations in life that we fully identified and we thought it was us, you know, like if your career is you, or if you thought that your partner is you, or if you thought that, you know, this is you in this community, of these things can be totally taken away, so you have a new sense of self, that it does not depend on outer things. So I just want to prepare you. For some of you, it's a great release, because some of you have been wanting this for a while, but those people who like, those Capricorns who like the social status and not to disturb it, and the social quo, it's going to be a year that's a little bit tougher, you know, a little bit, I would say like once in a lifetime, life transforming. For those degrees that I mentioned, from around 12, 13 to around 22 degrees, or born from around the 4th to around the 12th or 13th of January. So thank you so much, Capricorns, and I will see you next year.